I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Commissioners, Town of Redington Shores regular meeting. It's Wednesday, December 13, 2017 at 6 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, come to roll, please.
Commissioner Drum?
Here.
Commissioner Henderson?
Here.
Commissioner Neal?
Here.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Here.
Attorney Vanhart?
Here.
Attorney Rubenstein?
First would be the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting November 8, 2017, the workshop meeting November 29, 2017.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting November 8th, the workshop meeting November 29th, 27th.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, ratification of the bills for November and December.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ratification of the bills for November and December.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. First up now is the commission reports. I'll begin that with the police report. The criminal reports stayed the same as last year, no increase, no decrease. Police action reports were 13, which is same as last year. Physical arrest, 9, up 1. Traffic accidents, 2 were down 1. Traffic citations were 7, and they were down like 14. Parking tickets were up 1. Traffic warnings, 46, they were down from 75. Ordinance warnings, 5. Ordinance violations, none. Supplementary reports were 2. Other calls for service for the police is 492. And that was down considerably from last year. Next is the fire and EMS report. There were 2 non-emergency fire responses for this time period with a response time of 9 minutes. There were 3 emergency fire responses for this time period with an average response time of 7 minutes, 47 seconds. There were 8 non-emergency EMS responses for this time period with an average response time of 5 minutes, 49 seconds. There were 20 EMS responses. There were 20 emergency EMS responses for this time period with an average response time of 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Other reports I'd like to mention is that we, the 3 towns of Redington, North Redington, and us are working to get the undergrounding started on the east side with all the lines removed that run east and west across Gulf Boulevard. And I've mentioned before that we're always the lucky ones. We got 22 easements to get, and we're working on those and getting them pretty fast. Where North Redington had 4 to get, and Redington Beach had 4 to get, so we won out on the number of easements to get for the undergrounding. Hopefully we get that and it gets started by hope in February. Another thing that I'd like to mention is we have a plans to try to do a emergency center where our maintenance building is, and it backs up to North Reddington, and we both donating our land, and we will combine our maintenance facilities. There will be a fire facility, EMS facility there, which will cut down a lot of these times. Mayor Queen, we lost November the 30th. We had a real supporter, and I think we're still going to have one, but John Bennett, who was the assistant to the county manager of North Woodard, left and went into private industry. So Mayor Queen wrote a letter the other day for us to Mark Woodard and addressed how far we had gotten along on this. And I think Mark Woodard will be strongly with us to get this done. And it will definitely cut down response times for us in North Reddington and to a degree Reddington Beach. And with that, I'd like to say, had a good Christmas parade, if y'all saw that one. I refused to ride out in the back of the truck. It was a little chilly, so I rode in the truck. And I won't go into the story why I ended up with a truck. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We enjoyed every year. All right, what's that? Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Don't have much to report, except I'd like to thank all the volunteers and the staff for our great tree lighting that we had and the decorations, and also the Christmas parade, like he said, was great. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you.
All right, Commissioner Neal.
I don't have a lot to report this week, but we're moving along with the sewer lines on the west side of Gulf Boulevard here back into the subdivision. We got a couple more left to go, and I have all ideas. It's not going to happen until after Christmas. And we're purchasing, this evening we're talking about purchasing 2 more speed signs, where this time we're going to get solar. So I think when we put these up, we can put these probably in a permanent location if we figure out what we're doing. The week after New Year's, the striping, our painting guy's going to come. We're going to paint some speed limit signs on the roads and refresh some stop bars and the stop signs so everybody can see them. And now we're going to add a speed limit sign underneath each radar sign, so nobody can question. If they don't see what's in the road, they'll be able to see the one on the sign. So everybody will know what the speed is. And I second what Tom said, or what Commissioner Capper said. I thank the staff and everybody that put together a really nice lighting tree ceremony. The parade was a lot of fun. That was the first one that I've ever participated in. And look forward to doing another one. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Commissioner Henderson.
Okay, well, the mayor and I attended the Big C meeting this week, and we were able to get a little bit more information about the renourishment project for the beaches. We were told the project will be getting a later start than originally anticipated, and now it looks to, didn't they say March? And that could even change. But I think the biggest thing we took away from the meeting is the fact that we need 100% cooperation on 100% of those easements signed. That means every one of them has to be signed in order for us to get future renourishments. And I cannot stress enough how important it is for our barrier islands to receive this sand. And if you have any questions about the easements or what they need from you, contact me. If I don't have the answers, I can guarantee I can find someone that will. So please, please push your neighbors to sign them, because they're not giving away anything that wasn't theirs. You can't build on that. It's just helping us. So I just would really like to stress the sand thing. I was also approached at the tree lighting about installing a crosswalk near Del Bello Park. Since then, I think I've received, maybe over a dozen emails about the same issue. I contacted Forward Pinellas to see what type of assistance they could offer us, and after speaking with the executive director and our beach representative, Cookie Kennedy, it sounds like this is the correct avenue for me to take. I actually just finished drafting a document for their review, and we'll be sending it out probably either tonight or tomorrow morning. And I expect to bring this topic to a workshop as soon as I get enough information to present to the commission. So stay tuned. Happy and safe holidays to all. See you next year. That's it.
Very good. All right, Commissioner Drum.
A couple things. PSTA is now a designated safe place. Over the past 5 years, over 2,000 kids have needed a safe place to go in time of crisis. All 200 of the PSTA buses and trolleys are becoming mobile safe places. PSTA has partnered with Family Resources by joining the program. PSTA has more than doubled the amount of safe places for young people in need. Now a teen in crisis can get on any bus or terminal, tell the driver they need a safe place, and help will be dispatched to them immediately. It's a nationwide program. I'm sure you guys have seen the signs on libraries and police stations. Talking about the library, Vince here is going to do a presentation for us today. A lot going on with that. That's all I got. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
All right, thank you. We have Vincent Gadrick?
Gager.
Gadrick? Yeah, he's the director of the Gulf Beaches Library, and come to speak to us for the first time.
Good evening. My name is Vince Gadrix. I'm the new director of the Gulf Beaches Public Library. I've been at the library for about 4.5 months now, and over the last 5 weeks, I've been going to the commissioners' meetings of the municipalities in our service area just to introduce myself and to give a quick overview of some of the things we have coming up at the library. And I'd like to come back in February for a more detailed year-end report, but tonight I just want to come by and introduce myself and get to know everybody. The first thing I wanted to do is thank Reddington Shores for their most recent quarterly contribution to the library. I think many of you know that 62% of the revenues that the library gets comes from the municipalities in our service area, from Treasure Island all the way up to Reddington Shores. In our fiscal year that just ended at the end of September, the residents of Reddington Shores checked out over 8,000 items at the library. Now, if it wasn't for your support, they wouldn't have been able to do that, because without the municipality support, there would be no public library. So I thank you for enabling us to be able to provide the library service to the residents of Reddington Shores. Secondly, I would like to thank Commissioner Henderson for her 4 years of service at the library. When she left just this past September, she was the president. I enjoyed working with her for just a short period of time, and I know from the rest of the board and just working with her that she brought a lot of energy to the library board. She was very forward-thinking, and that's what we need at our library. I'd like to thank Commissioner Drum for his current service at the library. He's relatively new like I am. I enjoy working with him, and I'm going to enjoy working with him in the future. One of the things that's the guiding light for the library in the coming days is our new 5-year long-term plan. And the board did a good job putting it together. It really hits on a lot of areas where the library needs improvement. Upgrading our technology, upgrading the materials that are in the library, having more programs for children and adults. And one of the things that was going to kind of hamper us carrying out our 5-year plan is actually the building itself. The library over the last number of years has put aside some monies to do a building expansion project, and we really need to do that. Right now, we have a meeting room that's only 400 square feet. And it's really tough to do more programming for children. It's tough to have more events at the library with that kind of space. So what we're looking into is doing an addition to the building that would be anywhere from about 2,000 to 6,000 square feet, and the cost would be about $500,000 to $1 million. Now, the library, like I said, over the years had put some money aside that would cover half of that, and this coming year we're going to be applying for a $500,000 matching grant with the state to cover that cost. So those are just some of the things we have going in the future. Like I said, I look forward to coming back this winter to give you a more detailed financial report and year-end report. Do you have any questions? Or?
Anybody have a question?
No, but thank you for all your hard work already.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Great decision.
I hear good things, and thank you very much. All right, then we'll go on to old business. The first is the appeal to the special magistrate decision on variances at 44 181st Avenue West, case number 1-101-82017. I would like to thank Attorney Rubenstein to present that to us, if you would.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Assistant Town Attorney Lauren Rubenstein here with Steve Andrews to give a staff report on the variance that's being appealed tonight. The original variance was requested for the address, as you said, 44 181 Avenue West for lots 21, 22, 23, 24, and 26. All of the subject lots are located in the RS10 zoning district. The only permitted uses in the RS10 zoning districts are single-family dwellings, municipally owned or operated parks and playgrounds, and accessory structures. Duplexes are not permitted uses within the RS10 zoning district. The special magistrate at its October 18th, 2017 hearing granted 4 variances that were requested and denied the other 3. The variances that were denied was a redivide of lots 24 and 26 to accommodate a duplex, redivide of lots 20 and 21 to accommodate a duplex, and to vary or adjust the roofing requirements in the Gulf Boulevard overlay district to allow for a flat roof as opposed to a pitch roof. The variances that were granted by the special magistrate was to reduce the front setback on lot 24 from 15 feet to 10 feet, and to reduce the front setback on lot 26 from 15 feet to 10 feet, to reduce the front setback on lot 23 from 15 feet to 10 feet, and to reduce the rear setback on lot 23 from 10 feet to 5 feet. Currently, the lots as they are today, lots 20, 21, and 22 are vacant. Lot 23 is developed as a single-family home, and lots 24 and 26 are currently developed singularly as one lot and are combined. That concludes our presentation. Oh, on lots 24 and 26 currently sits a duplex.
If we have people that object to these variances, I know we've received a few letters of objection. Whoever would like to.
I think there was an appeal for who
Well,
filed, so whoever filed the appeal.
Who filed the appeal, I would like.
My name is Christina Warren, and I live at 35 180th Avenue West. So I'm directly behind them, lot 27. And there were other people who, I believe, also appealed. They just didn't write the word appeal. You know, I don't know that that was necessarily stated in the process. But anyway, I'm here tonight to ask you to reconsider the decision made by the special magistrate in case 1-1018217, 44 181st Avenue West on October 27th. And my background's going to be a little bit like what you just said. I wrote a letter to the magistrate expressing my concerns. I filed an appeal. I presented to the council, and that was tabled or postponed at the last meeting. There was some concern that perhaps all interested parties weren't made aware of the meeting. So this is pretty much the same as I presented last time. And I'm here to do that tonight. There was a request for a front setback on lot 24, a front setback on lot 26, a redivision of 24 and 26, a reduction of the front setback on 23, the rear setback on 23, and a redivision of lot 20 and 21. Which at the time I think would have been 6 homes. I'm assuming now there's 4 since those 2 Lot 20 and 21, and Lot 24 and 26, they didn't get the variances granted. In my research, it looks like 24 and 26 were already one lot. It wasn't presented that way originally, so when I look at it, it's basically a 1,500 square foot footprint that could accommodate, up to a 3,000 square foot home, and I don't really see that as a hardship, when these variances were granted as hardships. Lot 23 without any variance has a current footprint of 712 square feet. Built up, that's 1,400 square feet, hardly a hardship, and much more in line with the neighborhood. All of these variances, if they're granted, they're going to be 5 feet from my back door. And while I do understand that it might be a financial hardship for the developers, they may not get all the money they want out of the property, I believe the real hardship is a quality of life issue for the residents that are already currently living there. Some of my concerns are, we already have flooding. With the setbacks and the reduction in the setbacks, with the variances being given, there's going to be less impervious space. There's going to be more concrete, more flooding. So that's one issue. We already have sewage issues. It's going to be just exacerbated by more concrete, more people. Air quality is an issue. I said this before, but, right currently, when my neighbors spray any kind of pesticide, my yard gets sprayed. If they're barbecuing, I'm barbecuing. If they're smoking, I'm smoking. And I don't know of any ordinances with detached homes where there's any rules about, so many feet you can't smoke, so many feet you can't have fires. Not that I know of. Privacy issues. With someone being 2.5 stories above my house, I'm going to have absolutely no privacy. Any conversation I want to have that is private is going to have to happen in the house. People are going to know whether I'm in the bedroom, in the bathroom, in the living room, because it's literally, I'm going to be in a fishbowl. Someone's going to be right on top of me. So allowing those variances just allows them that much closer. But basically, the bottom line is, while none of you know me personally, my personality is that I look at everything from all sides. Sometimes I win, sometimes I don't win. I've looked at this from every angle I can possibly look at it. And it's the wrong project for this space. This is not a blank canvas. This is a space where people already live and already have homes. And how you come into it has to be delicate. It has to be done with integrity. It has to be done with thought. And while looking at these schematics or photos or what, I don't know what you call them, while there is no picture of my home on there, I can assure you that I live there. And that, this is me. This is lot 27. And while they may like to pretend that there's nobody there, we are there. And it has to be done in a way that works. I don't imagine that it's not going to happen. I mean, I realize that we're going to have something built. But I don't think the variance is needed to happen. I don't think it needs to be larger. And I think that what was presented needs to be much more in line with the area. So I'm asking you tonight to please reconsider the decision made by the special magistrate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christine, I have a question. Is that 27? Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else that filed an appeal? Come up and state your name, address.
Sure. I'm Jennifer Beasley. I live on 181st, on the opposite side, on the front side of this development. And
What's your address?
41, 181st.
41?
It's a little yellow house. That's what I like to call it, the little yellow house.
What's your lot number?
Can you just point it out to me?
Sure.
What it is?
So I won't reiterate what Christine just said. I don't want to bore everyone or waste our time, but I absolutely agree with everything she just said. And I'll layer on a few points of perspective for you. We're already a community here. We're a tight-knit, close community with what I think is probably the smallest street in Reddington Shores. So if you've not driven down our street recently, I would really encourage you to do so. It's narrow, it's tiny. It's a one-way little street, and it's already difficult to back your cars in and out. It comes down to a point where people have to do like a three-point turn to get around the corner at the end. And when you think about the setback and the variances that are being requested, that puts things very close to the front. And when you add 6 units, let's think about that as like 12 cars plus visitors down this tiny little street that's already crowded. It's just not in the character of our community. And we really implore you as our representatives to take care of us as your residents. We're not people who are in and out of here for vacation. We live here. I'm having twins here. And it's really important to me for us to preserve that character. In fact, my neighbor has already put their house on the market because of what's happening across the street. It's very unfortunate. I will also share that we encourage change, right? We know that something has to be built there, and we look forward to something new. But we really would like to have it be in the character of our area. Having 4 stories tall, very close to the street, and 6 units really just makes us look at a wall of buildings, and it changes our environment. So please, consider your residents and what's fair to us as well. Thank you.
Jennifer, can I ask you a question? Jennifer, can I ask you a question, please? What's your setback, do you know? Do you know, Steve?
Steve and I have looked at it. It's 15 from the front. I believe it's 10 from the sides.
You know, I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
So we talked about it when I actually purchased my house. It's a 1940 house that was in really bad shape. And we couldn't rebuild with the setbacks. It would have been like a 15 by 15 square foot house. So we put money into our little 1-story shack, made it livable. And that stayed in context with our neighborhood. That's what's there. So,
I understand.
yeah.
Thank you.
Jennifer, could you point out here where yours is at also?
Sure, I am
It's the little yellow one
right
there.
there.
Oh, you're across the street.
I'm
Okay.
right across the street.
Okay, all right.
You're set back further right than
Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
I'm going to ask if anybody's got anything to add to this, please come up. If you have the same thing to say, well, as far as the people raise their hands, I'll know how many. Do you want to speak?
Back here, please.
Okay.
Ginger McQuigg.
I'm sorry.
Ginger McQuigg, 61 181st Avenue. I just want to reiterate the safety factor on that street. I know Jennifer just talked about it, but where my house is, and I'm even up where I've got more room at the end of the street there, if somebody's parked behind me because they're parked wrong, and my neighbor's home next door, I can't get out of my driveway. The ingress and egress to those houses is already compromised. If we start, I don't even know how the people at the end of the street would ever get in and out of there. So I just say, if nobody's gone down there and tried to back a car in and out or seen the traffic, because we have people going the wrong way and all sorts of things, even though they're not supposed to, there's a lot of traffic on that street already. And I do believe it's a safety factor to have that many more things backing out into that street. And may I ask a question about something else at this point? Gulf Boulevard, I know that was supposed to be on the easements, but that's never been brought up again. Is that off the table at this point? The side that was on Gulf Boulevard, I thought there were some easements that didn't come before the magistrate when we were all here before. Something I got that said it had been left off and they weren't part of this and they would have to come back before the commission again. Has that been taken off the table?
I know on lot 21 and 20, the redivide was denied, correct, Steve?
Yeah.
And
Yes, that was not approved.
but there was something for easements on Gulf Boulevard that, the information I got after the meeting said that that had been left off of the original plan, and it would have to come back before the commission again. Yeah. No, they weren't granted, but it did say, they did say it would have to come back before the commission again, so I'm just asking, but is that off the table and there's not going to be a hearing on that?
Well, the only thing before the commission tonight is the appeal of the variances that were granted. Anything else?
Okay, that was just one that said it would have to come back to be granted.
Special magistrate was
Okay.
denied. Anything else that's being sought would have to be.
For another meeting. Okay, all right, thank you.
Barry Taylor, 300 182nd Avenue East. We're considering the impact on 180th and 181st, but that a lot of the people that are here today are concerned about the impact on an entire community. This variance does not constitute an economic hardship, and that we would appeal to you to reconsider it because of the fact that it sets a precedence for the whole rest of the community.
Hi there, Jeff Koreski, 220 180th Avenue East, Reddington Shores. I'm going to stick this drawing up here that was by the developer. And just to touch on that point about how this is submitted by the developer, which is his drawing. And they're actually, these garage doors closed, they're showing parking in the driveway already sticking out into the road. That's how close this is going to be. You can't even park in the driveway according to the developer. So, I mean, that's just utterly absurd in my mind. So that just gives you how shallow these easements are going to be. So I don't know if anybody can see that, but the cars are actually sticking out on the road. And also submitted there further, when I was reading this further, they actually spelled Reddington wrong, so it really doesn't show you how much they care about Reddington.
DMV does that too, so.
Well, really cared about the neighborhood, I think you get the spelling right. So, that's all right, we got the point.
We have that picture.
Yeah, you got, okay, all right. Well, you can see, I mean, cars are sticking out in the road. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And that's just obviously ridiculously unsafe. Let's see here. So what I did is I looked up the meaning of hardship. And it's something that causes ongoing or persistent suffering or difficulty with a condition of lacking necessities or comforts. So granting these variances doesn't really make sense. I have not encountered a developer that has encountered hardship before. In my experience in construction for 40 years, they were the ones that cause hardships. They do not experience hardship. So, and I also did a little looking on Florida case law about this. And according to Florida case law, no hardship can be proved where reasonable use can be made of the property. Also, number 2, was the property owner or developer aware of the zoning at the time of purchase? If you're smart, I believe that you would do that little bit of research. Number 3, the physical characteristics, the shape of the land / lots, do not render the lot undevelopable. And any increased cost to satisfy the current requirements on this land or inconvenience does not constitute a hardship if you're aware of what you're buying, of what you're purchasing, and what the easements are. So, that being said, I'm still flabbergasted by the approval of the easements by the special magistrate, period. I just don't understand it. If you're aware of buying something, there's plenty of room here to make things work as far as the buildings that are going up. They can be built on, it's obviously can be built on, it's a big piece of property. You just have to tone it down a little bit. That's all we're asking, tone it down a little bit, make it look like it fits in. That photo, that does not fit in with our community, sorry. That's a commercial looking structure. And from my research with this developer, that's what they specialize in. They're a commercial builder, and, for the most part, that's all I found. I've only been able to find them near a residential building by them, that they built one custom home. I haven't been able to find anything else, maybe they have. But I found a whole slew of commercial buildings, and that's what this, whatever that is, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a commercial property, and that's not something that's going to fit in with us. You know, honestly, I'm not one resident of this town that likes this, what they see. I mean, not everybody could be here, obviously, but if they were, I don't know anybody that disagrees with what I'm saying or what all these other residents are saying. I just don't know anybody. I haven't found anybody. So, that being said, I'm asking you to just do what we're asking you to do as residents, and do not grant these easements. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work for any of us. So, thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening. I'm John Strackle, and my wife and I I live at 207 180th Avenue East. It's on the other side of Gulf Boulevard. We've had this place about 4.5 years, and we don't live here permanently yet, but we're moving down about the middle of next year. We're really excited about becoming permanent members of this community. And, you know, everybody's making a lot of good technical reasons why these properties are maybe not the best choice to build there, but, you know, we're excited about Reddington Shores because this community is very special, and we're glad to be here because it epitomizes what a beach community is. We really like living where we live. We like our neighbors. The vibe this community gives off is very special. That little piece of dirt right there, we walk by every day when we go for a walk on the beach, and it's just, you know, that little group of homes, there are some that do need to be replaced, like the ones this developer is considering, but that group of homes is just a, you know, a special part of what makes Reddington Shores Reddington Shores. So this is just a, you know, kind of a plea to try to, you know, don't lose what Reddington Shores is in development of our community into more, you know, McMansions and things like that. I mean, it's what makes the community what it is, having these kinds of places, and they're precious. We can't, you know, once we give them away, they're gone. So please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Are you,
Yeah, can I don't know whether I'll be speaking anyway. I'm representing the developer.
why don't you wait until we see if there's
Yeah, I don't know.
anybody else?
We'll
Wait
be
till I finish with,
You'll be making major
you'll have an
concessions.
opportunity.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm Lisa Foster. Most of you know me. I'm at 18002 3rd Street East. You know me because I am on your floodplain committee and I'm the chair of your PPI committee. I also serve on the board of directors for the Surfside Beach Club. I'm here as a resident. I'm not representing the club tonight. I'm here to support my neighbors and everything that they've said tonight. I'm asking you to overturn the decision by the magistrate on these variances for the setbacks. They are unreasonable requests. The one lot, 24 and 26 is actually one single lot. It's not two lots. And they gave variances on it, which without any variances, that particular one single lot for one single family home can accommodate a 1,500 square foot home. There's no reason whatsoever to grant a variance for a setback on that. On the one adjacent to it, lot 23, there's room for over 700 square foot footprint, which comes to a 1,400 square foot home. That is also not a hardship. I requested some information from the town, and I got the last 10 years worth of setback variance requests. On single family homes, there were 7 setback variance requests, of which 0 were approved. All 7 got denied. The only approvals for something in similar nature were 2 townhouses, one in the south side of town, and those variances that got approved for those setbacks, 5 foot on the side, 10 foot in the back, and 19.6 in the front. That's bigger than what these setbacks with our current code is. So the other one was on 3rd Street, and that was the 10 foot, 10 foot setback only in the front. and I'm not really sure why that one happens. But you cannot be giving out variances like candy, and this is definitely going to set a precedence for that. As far as lots 24 and 26, please do note that that is one lot. So that's not for a duplex, which was originally proposed. I understand that it got denied, but that is one single lot. The town has adopted a comprehensive plan. We have codes to enforce regulations for zoning to make sure that this town stays in line with the comprehensive plan and all of its goals. The restrictions adopted by the town are necessary for public benefit. The ordinances really need to be observed. Why do we have rules if we're not going to observe them? Because there are no hardships here. Flooding is already an issue over there. This is only going to add to that. Lots 24 and 26 combined with the setbacks that were approved will not even reach that 30% pervious requirement. So it's going to be very, very challenging for these guys to develop this with proper drainage to not increase the flooding over there. I understand you're lining the sewers, and that will help with the infiltration and the overcapacity of it. But that lift station at the end, that pump station that you have at the end of the street, is already backing up with a little rainfall. So it's only going to worsen it. And I understand this is going to be developed, and I'm not trying to, stop progress here. I'm just trying to support my neighbors. This needs to be done in a delicate way that is in line with the town's comprehensive plan, with what your constituents want. So I just ask you to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have the developer or someone here to represent?
Hi, I'm Jack Boziak. I'm an architect. I've done quite a bit of work out here going way back. I did the little lighthouse at the end of this street. I did Lighthouse Point. I did the Shores, which is just across the street here. I think procedurally, I would need to ask you to ask Attorney Linhart's opinion on, we've done some major modification to try and bring this in line. I met in depth. I was not involved in this in the initial stages, but I just got involved a week or two ago. And what we did basically, after reconsideration on some of this, we did recombine lots 26 and, 24. 24 and 26. And what we tried to do is redistribute the frontage for lots 22, 23, and 24 down the street to come up with a wider lot that would made a little more allowable land use. Now, I know this is a major adjustment to the previously approved plan, but I think it comes a lot more in line with what the residents are looking for, in that we did recombine the lots that they were concerned about, which the lot in the back was really difficult to work on. Then we did redistribute the frontage so that each of these lots are 40 feet now, and they're actually bigger than what's across the street and adjacent. So I have done some plans, and the character, I agree that's commercial. I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but we have done.
It's proper for the commission at this time to start.
I understand, but I'm trying to find out how we can approach this, because we've made some compromises.
Tonight, we're looking at the variances.
Yeah.
Are you still asking for variances there?
The variances that were approved are the only ones, but we are following through with some of the things that the public was looking for.
Really, you would have to.
Resubmit this?
The only issue tonight is whether those two variances that the special magistrate granted are
Yep.
going to be upheld or going to be overturned.
Okay.
There's not anything before the commission tonight on rewriting the plans or trying to
Yeah,
improve
yeah, well, this
the
is procedurally what I wanted to find out, what we needed to do to try and bring this in line, because we have made some pretty major adjustments in this to try and bring it more in line with what
Do you have
is.
anything in response to what the applicant said as far as why you think the variances should not be overturned or should be upheld?
Well, because I would say this. I believe that the realignments that we're proposing, we would like to have the commission reconsider, would be an adjustment to what was approved. That brings it more in line. I think that but I do think the setbacks that were approved do help accomplish some of the things that the public's looking for. In other words, the reattachment of the two lots, redistribution of the lots to make them more buildable. I think that the setbacks, I would like to see the commission, or the commission and the magistrate even reconsider keeping the setbacks so that we can make it work within an improvement that fits better what the citizens are looking for.
They're requesting the setback.
Yes, yes, and I would say that if that could possibly be accomplished in a deferment of this, finalization of this, to see whether the commission agrees with the modifications, or basically a response to the citizens asking for changes, and those changes have been accommodated.
The issue before the commission is very simple. It's
Mhm.
whether the commission believes that the special magistrate's decision
Was a good one.
granting the variances was proper or was improper.
Yes, I understand that.
Certainly up to the commission based on the town's variance criteria.
Well, I think the only thing I would say is that I would appreciate your considering keeping these setbacks in that, with the realignment that we are going to propose, let's put it that way. I think that the setbacks that were approved by the special magistrate, if you look at the aerials of everything in the neighborhood, those basically are the setbacks on quite a few of the lots. So I don't think it's an outrageous request. I think that the magistrate performed properly on the setback allowance. I think that a better use of these would be, for example, putting these to a use that allows you to realign the lots and come up with something that's more buildable and more compatible with what the residents are looking for. And I think the developer is willing to make those compromises. So I think that if these setbacks would allow it to be compatible with the neighborhood, they'd be similar to everything that exists in the neighborhood, and they would allow us to come back with the style and a lot of the accommodations that the citizens are looking for. So I don't think the issue here is as much the setback, because that setback is found throughout the neighborhood. It's unfortunate, but it is. I don't think this is an alignment that is major. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, you mind if I say something?
No, I don't mind.
You're talking about changing the whole project. In my eyes, I think that would require starting from scratch all over again.
That's the decision that the commission needs to make. I would ask that the setbacks, though, if they're the only thing that we're appearing to about tonight, I would say we are going to resubmit a realignment to meet some of the needs that the neighbors were looking for. For example, recombining the lots, redistributing some of the lot lines. But the variance that was granted does assist in our being able to do that. So I would hope you consider that.
All right, anyone else?
My name is Kamir Patel, and I am actually the developer. We took consideration of the public, and we want to make some adjustments, but what we want to do mainly is, in order to make use of the land properly, we have to have the setbacks, what we have requested for each lot. The setback that is on for lot 24 and 26 will probably, maybe, once we take out the lot line, once we combine that lot, it might not be needed. That's the only thing that's there. But right now, on the other lots, we'll still need the variances. And
The other lots, no variances were granted to them.
23 was,
23, but the other lots, they weren't granted. So that's not before the commission tonight.
okay.
I mean, they can't grant something that wasn't granted by the special magistrate. So that's not before, you can't ask for any more than you already got at this point.
Right. So I'm not asking, but I just want to present mainly every home, every lot on that street. I mean, even lot number 27, the one behind us, I mean, they're right on the lot line. I mean, the setback is like, they're 3 feet away. And they expect us not to be, I mean, we're doing, according to the code, 5 feet, whatever we need to be. Current structures are like 3 feet. Yeah, someone was saying about the parking. Parking, there's no parking right now. I mean, we're trying to create that with if we keep whatever is there existingly and just update it, then it will be even more of a problem. I mean, it has to be economically feasible, so, I mean, people have to understand that, and I think I just wanted to put that point across. I mean, and we're trying to work with everyone, so.
Did I hear you a few minutes ago say that on lots 24 and 26, that with what you're now planning, you really don't need the variances that were granted?
We'll still need the 10-foot in the front. In the back, we won't need it, because the back would be the back of lot number 26. So we still need lot number 24, we just don't need 26.
And how many houses are your new structure proposing? Well, I just don't want to get to a point here.
Well, it'll be 4 or 5 homes. Initially, it was 6 homes. So, but it's, I guess,
All right.
Is there any back and forth?
No. Everybody talks one time.
Okay, so in summary, you're asking that the special magistrate's decision...
I'm just asking that the variance should be granted. Yeah.
Anybody else?
I think just a clarification point, because I was involved with the purchase of the property for the developer, and
Your name,
I'm sorry, Jeff Beggins. I own property in 182nd Avenue, 622. And by being out here and hearing the feedback, I think I don't know, did he admit this into evidence, the new renderings? I don't,
Not, you can't.
I thought they did, okay.
We're looking at this. We
Okay.
have walls.
The only thing I could say is that they heard the resistance, and they dropped off at least one house, and it might even be 2, and they changed the character for what it is. So anyway, if you can grant the setbacks, I think they'll fit everything into the box. They've already done what they can do by dropping at least one of the houses off the plan. So I think it probably needs to be regrouped and represented. I don't know, are you from an attorney standpoint, if they were to be granted the variances, can they come back and redistribute lot lines, or do they have to go back through planning and zoning again no matter what?
It's not up to the commission tonight to try to approve or give any yeses or nos as to any plans that haven't been submitted,
Right.
haven't been looked at by the building official, haven't been
Right.
looked at as to the dimensions. The only issues, like I've said tonight, are whether the special magistrate's decision as to these 3 lots granting variances is upheld by the commission or is overturned by the
Right.
commission.
Okay,
And then anything else, FEMA's granted.
got it, okay. Very
Is it
good.
time to
All
make,
right, is anybody else? You, for or against?
I'm just wanting to correct a statement that was made about
That's all right, we've heard, we've heard.
the lot 24, 26,
I will obtain a
motion?
motion.
I'd like to make a motion on the floor to, what's the proper word for, we're turning it down?
Overturn.
To overturn? I like
Reverse and overturn the decision.
reverse and overturn the variance by the magistrate.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. The second reading and advertised public hearing of ordinance 17-07, storm on roof over deck.
An ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading, Shores, Florida, imposing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance of applications for processing of or issuance of development permits for construction or erection of decks on any residential properties within the Town of Reading Shores on which the floor of such deck would be installed over any roof of the existing structure that is pitched or sloped at a 2-inch rise per 12-inch run or greater on such residential structure regardless if such deck structures meet height regulations, providing for the inclusion of such ordinance in the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve ordinance number 17-07.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Number 3, approval to purchase electronic speed signs. Commissioner Neal.
We have a proposal from Radar Sign where we purchased the 2 other signs. The proposal is for $7,640, and it's a little bit more this time because we're getting solar. Okay, so these are going to be permanent. When we put these up, we won't move these. We have the other 2 battery ones that we can move around town.
And that's for both of them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's for 2 signs?
Yes, for 2 signs.
Gonna make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve this purchase.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. The next is Resolution 12-17. This is under new business. This is very dear to my heart, actually. It's opposing home rule legislation.
Resolution number 12-17, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading, Shores, Florida, opposing legislative efforts to impede the constitutional right of Florida citizens to govern themselves under municipal home rule powers and opposing the legislature's intrusion into local finances, which are necessary to provide financial stability and essential services required by municipal residents and local businesses, and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve resolution number 12-17.
Second.
Motion and a second, and discussion. Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes.
And if I could just say something, and just to make sure that everybody knows that there's a big push in the legislature right now to take away home rule authority, which has been around Florida since 1970-something. And that basically says that governments like this control what goes on in the town, and the legislature is pulling away things as fast as they can and trying to take away authority from local governments to basically govern themselves, and that's what home rule is all about. And so if you know any legislatures, express your feelings to them. Unfortunately, a lot of the leadership in the legislature right now is all in favor of removing everything from local government. So if you're not aware of that, be aware of that. This sounds like a form resolution, but the Florida League of Cities, the Florida Municipal Attorneys Association, all of the local groups, probably Florida Police Chiefs Association, everybody else, Fire Chiefs Association, I saw the chief here a minute ago, probably everybody is against that on a local level. So just let your legislators know how you feel one way or the other. Thank you.
All right, going on to,
With the passage of the resolution, would it be possible for you to inform the residents through your mayor's letter about this resolution and about the impact?
sir. And I've talked about this at many meetings before. 12 years ago, when I started on the council, Tallahassee would not touch home rule. There's been a big change, right? I mean,
There's been a big change in the legislatures, and
yeah.
some of them don't feel the way that most of them used to feel.
No, it didn't come from local government.
Right. So, anyway, yes, it would. The next is ordinance 17-08, first reading, advertised public hearing, amending the PUD allowable uses at 17715 Gulf Boulevard.
Ordinance number 17-08, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, amending the allowable uses on a parcel of land generally located at 17715 Gulf Boulevard, Reading Shores, Florida, legally described as attached hereto on Exhibit A and made a part hereof, lying within sections 31 and 32, Township 30 South, Range 6 or 15 East, Pinellas County, Florida, which parcel of land is generally located to the east of Gulf Boulevard and which parcel of land is currently zoned Planned Unit Development, PUD, amending the allowable uses on the front portion of such property which is legally described collectively on Exhibits B and C attached hereto and made a part hereof, allowing that the portion of the land depicted on Exhibit C can be used for a parking lot in conjunction with contiguous property and a parcel located across Gulf Boulevard at 17566 Gulf Boulevard, Reddington Shores, Florida, setting forth conditions for approval and use of such parcels, providing an effective date.
Motion to approve the ordinance number 17-08.
Second.
Motion and a second, and discussion.
Could I say something on this?
Sir.
This is part of several applications that I think will probably be before you for your meeting next in January 13th, I think, or whenever it is. And as you know, this portion up to the east of Gulf Boulevard portion property was zoned PUD, Plan Unit Development, and the conditions at that time restricted the front portion to 5 residential units or 1 or 2 commercial buildings up to something like 5,770 square feet. The developers at this time proposed to develop the 5 residential units. In the past, there's been all sorts of applications for 17 residential units, whatever, but it's restricted to 5 residential units. And they proposed to develop the 5 units, but to develop them on basically the north 2/3 of the parcel. The south 1/3 of the parcel, the current plan, as I understand it, is that the Hotel Sol, which has an application pending to develop on the east side of Gulf Boulevard as well, wishes to use the southern portion of that land for a parking lot. We have had meetings with all the developers for all the units, Hotel Sol and the developers of 5 units, and come up with conditions that if it is a parking lot, is to be paved, look nice, look neat, be landscaped, have a 8-foot dividing wall if necessary between the parking lot and 5 residential units so that there aren't complaints in the future as far as noise and lights and that sort of thing. So I think there will be some other parts of this that come before you at your meeting next month. This is the first reading on an ordinance that would just allow right now a parking lot is not a permitted use on that PUD. So this would be the first reading of an ordinance to amend the allowable uses that would allow not only 5 residential units, but the parking lot. So, just want to make sure everybody understood it. You're going to probably see more next month.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Number 3 is ordinance 17-09 requiring permits for garage sales.
Ordinance number 17-09, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida, creating a new article of the Code of the Town of Reddington Shores pertaining to garage sales, providing for the inclusion of such new article in the Code of the Town of Reddington Shores, providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve ordinance 17-09.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, ordinance 17-10, amending section 140-61, defining commercial vehicle.
Ordinance number 17-10, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida pertaining to parking, amending section 140-61, 140-6 sub I believe it is, of the Code of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida by adding a definition of commercial vehicles as to the prohibition of a commercial vehicle being parked on Gulf Boulevard for a period in excess of 2 hours, providing for inclusion of such amended ordinance in the Code of the Town of Reddington Shores, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Go ahead, Jim.
I'll make a motion to approve 17-10.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
So you say for 2 hours, so if there's a commercial vehicle there that's maintaining the properties, the lawns and whatnot, and they've had 4 or 5 in
This
a row.
is Gulf Boulevard.
That's what I'm saying, even on Gulf Boulevard.
Okay.
Okay, so now what happens is they'll park in between the north and south lane, turn, section in the middle. This is going to also affect them, is that correct?
Yeah, your current ordinance provides actually for 2 hours. That's in the part in the ordinance that's not underscored is in your current ordinance. The difficulty is the current ordinance doesn't really define commercial vehicle.
Okay.
So your current ordinance already says no parking of commercial vehicles on Gulf Boulevard for a period in excess of 2 hours. So if that's been working with whatever vehicles in the past, that's not being changed. The only thing is the underscored portion of this is added to define what commercial vehicle is.
Okay.
Apparently, the police chief indicated, the police department indicated that they were hesitant to enforce the ordinance because it did not really define commercial vehicles. So that's why I understand the commission wished the ordinance be proposed.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it pertains to like the big vans and the high vans and things like that are parked there overnight and stuff.
All right, got a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mayor, call the roll.
Commissioner Drummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, public comments.
Thank you.
Next workshop, Ms. What are we gonna do about the workshop?
Workshop meeting, November 27.
Doing this, it's right in the middle of between Christmas and New Year's.
I'd say cancel it.
No problem here.
Oh, she went.
Go ahead and cancel that one, Mary. So the next meeting will be the regular meeting Wednesday, January 10th, 2018, 6 p.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned.
Fine job.